Welcome to the Behind the Art Inspiration podcast, a podcast for collectors around the world, as well as for artists, where I dive into the inspiration behind artwork. And I'm here in my DC studio this week, and I've got a full um, schedule of artists that I am interviewing, both in the International Online Art Collective and beyond that. But you know what? I decided to turn the camera on myself for just a bit and talk to you about my iconic building collection. Um, I have been painting buildings in Georgetown and cityscapes since 2018, and this is one of the earlier ones. When I painted it, it was Greenworks Florist, and since then it's now the Call Your Mother Deli, which is it's a popular Instagram space. Obviously, people stand right in front of it and they uh, photograph themselves like a selfie place. Anyways, I am going to work in it a little bit. Sometimes I do that. So this is a painting that was 2018, will now be 2023. What I'm doing here is I am putting in my signature Starry Night, like Twilight, where I'm going to add Edison lights, which I have become very popular for as an artist in Georgetown. And this is the only one from the earlier series that hasn't sold. And so I've been looking at it and I know that if I add that blue, the deeper blue, it's gonna pop. You can already see it happening here, the browns and everything is just gonna pop in a different way. So I figured I'd invite you since I've been filming now. I think I've done 6 podcasts by now. And I'm gonna end up at the end having done 14 or 15. And they'll be coming out, like I'm going to drip them out. But I had everything all set up. So I thought, come along on my journey. And we move this chair and we will paint. And I don't know who's going to interrupt me. Hopefully you can see pretty well that I have my signature metallic blue with some Prussian blue as well. And as you see, I'm just going to paint it in. Usually when I'm showing up, I'm no stranger to live event painting where I have an entire audience watching me do things like this. As I'm painting, I'm going to talk a little bit, hopefully you can hear me, about somebody else I met this week. I met with a literary agent for children's books because I'm in the process of writing a series of children's books, and they're featuring my kawaii art. So there are 5 fairies that are summoned by the big old full moon to different islands, and they're helping one another. They're 5 sister fairies. So, anyways, long story short, the artwork that's in that series of books features my coastal Hawaiian art. So I met with the literary agent yesterday here in my DC studio, and she let me know that what she actually has fallen in love with are my iconic buildings. And she said that, yes, keep working and on the fairy story, but what she hasn't seen a lot of and what she wants to see are stories about urban landscapes. So I'm already started thinking about what that group of children's books will be about. And they will feature my iconic buildings. And I'm really super excited about that. What she loves about them is the childlike perspective of, like, your kids are probably about this big and they're looking up at this great big giant building, and all the paintings already have a narrative. So it's fleshing out that narrative and putting it out in a way, that becomes a page turner for children, right? Like, that they want to sit down and interact with the book. And she pointed out that, a lot of children live in the city and the children may not get to the shore, right? But what they do see is they see a whole lot of buildings. Like that's part of their world. Buildings are part of their world. And if they are in a big crowd, their perspective is maybe, if there's a crowd of people, they're not going to see faces. They're just going to see like the tops of buildings and maybe the kneecaps of the people. And so I'm playing with that idea. The first thing I think of is like uh, the field study. That's what I call field trips. I call them field studies because it's when you're going out in the field and you're studying what's around you. And so I figured it might be a story about maybe two brothers out in the city, which would be Nikolai and Sebastian, or I got to get some more paint. Or it's about another idea I had was that actually it's about a little group of artists, right? Because I have one painting called Special Delivery on M Street. So the title of the book could be Special Delivery on M Street, and then the second part would be uh, a journey through the city or something like that, right? So because M Street is really popular in Georgetown, and so in my painting, which is actually right here, so I'm going to show it to you. Special Delivery on M Street is a delivery truck, right? So you can see it right here. See the delivery truck? Now in the delivery truck is my artwork, right? And it's going to a special place in Georgetown on M Street, a special gallery, right? So I thought, well, what if these children, because it is a children's book, are wanting to put their artwork in, you know, they want to enter a show or something, and they get accepted to the show, and so they get to travel to the city to see where their show has landed, and they're walking by all these buildings, and it sort of becomes their adventure. I don't know. So I've got these ideas flying through my head as I paint this. But as you can see, when I add this blue, it changes the entire story of the painting, because now it's either morning, or I like to think of it as twilight, like the golden hour when the stars might start coming out. And when I add the Edison lights, I'm going to flash some gold up in there too. I always paint the edges, so I'll do that now. Usually I'm going live on social media, or just doing some time lapses and sharing that. So I guess I'm trying this venue out. I'm not sure anybody's going to see it, because people have to opt into watching a podcast, which we'll see how it goes. But hopefully you're watching and paying attention. Yeah. Let's see. So now that I'm done with this part of it, I'm going to find my white, show you how I put my stars in. White do I think of them? And I use the end of my paintbrush. Just like the same paintbrush. Those stars might be a little bit. Let's see. So I'll put some big ones, and then I'm also going to use a smaller brush. Those are some pretty big ones. And what you might not be able to see is when I painted the blue on top, it's quite translucent in nature. So actually, um, you can see as an underpainting the previous sky that was in there, which had actually a lot of really cool blues in it. And I'm really liking that effect. And this is all just breathing new life into this group. I love being here in the city for a week, hanging out in my studio where I can be really creative. And the next thing I'm going to work on is I'll show you because I'm excited. Well, no, it's a twilight at the Fountain Inn, and I'm actually going to add myself painting, like a painting of the artist painting the painting of what I'm painting. So that because one of my favorite things to do when I'm here in Georgetown is paint live. So it's a picture of me painting live with an audience, doing what I love, right? You get it, right? Super changed. You can even hear the dryer in the background. The Edison lights, let's see. Do I have gold? Okay, so the Edison lights, usually I'm going to have yellow to white to give it like the illusion, right? Not just white because the stars are. So in Georgetown, they illuminate the buildings quite nicely with Edison. Snore. And I'll anchor them down with a little bit of brown, meaning I'll attach them to the building once I place them. And I like working with acrylic sometimes because it dries so quickly. And I can, like, I have the ability to paint right on top of this blue because it's pretty much dry. And Edison lights. Do you have Edison lights at your house? Need to mix up a brand new batch because as you can see, I got blue on my brush. Right? Let me know. Do you like watching in this format? Or should I go straight on to social media? I like to wrap right around the edge of the canvas so that the same thing that's happening on the front is happening around the side. So if you're ever like sitting next to a painting, you can kind of get a taste of what's going on in the painting. I don't even know if they even had Edison lights on this building. They do that. Totally changing the mood of the piece. And it kind of doing this kind of takes you back into the scene also. And it shows you the arc. It's showing a little bit more of the architecture, right? And this is actually okay. Now gold. Watch this. Hopefully, it's dry enough to do it. I have to do it later. Shake this up a little bit more. Kind of like a atmosphere. So it's adding. This is adding a little bit of atmosphere. Because maybe maybe it's like a little bit of a foggy night, and so the lights are picking up some of that fog in the background. It's super interesting. It is so wet, but look. It kind of dances. It dances with the light. All of them. Anyway, you get pleasure. So thanks for joining me. Let me know if this is something you love to watch me paint live on a podcast instead of just on social media. Thank you for paying attention as I celebrate collaboration, art, and connection. And until next time, have a great day.